Hi, this is Jennifer Colangelo, HPE specialist here at Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. HPE engineered preemptive measures into HPE ProLiant Gen 10 servers with Intel Xeon scalable processors. Gen 10 servers with HPE integrated Lights Out 5 earned the status as the world's most secure industry standard server. Today we have Doug Haskell joining us. He is the manager of HPE ILO firmware and Smart Update Technologists, and he is going to run down the top 10 HPE security recommendations for ILO.
Hey Jennifer, glad to be here, and I am honored to serve as the manager of the ILO and the Smart Update teams. My teams are responsible for the ILO firmware, Smart Update Manager, Smart Update Tool, ILO Amplifier Intelligent Provisioning, and the ILO REST tool.
Good to know. I'm excited to hear your top 10 recommendations for ILO security.
Well, let's get started. Here we go. Top 10 list of best practices to keep ILO and servers secure, starting from number 10. Disable unused ports. If you're not using SSH, if you're not using SNMP, turn those ports off. Everything in ILO is configurable. You can turn on what you need and turn off what you're not using. Number 9, use a dedicated management network. We offer both the dedicated NIC and the shared network port. The dedicated management port gives you the ability to create an isolated management network and is more secure. Number 8, configure the remote console to automatically lock the OS server console. So when you disconnect from the remote console, we can make it so it automatically locks the server's console. You don't have to remember to do that. It can be configured to lock both Windows, Linux, or a custom key sequence, whatever you need. Number 7, on Intel platforms, we need to keep the management engine firmware up to date as well. That's also known as the Server Platform Services firmware. Number 6, utilize strong encryption ciphers. We have a wide variety of security profiles. We have the production mode, high security mode, FIPS mode, CNSA mode. So you can turn on the security that you need. And so turn on those stronger encryption ciphers. Number 5, very important. Regularly change passwords and use strong passwords. We had a great conversation with James Morrison with the FBI out at Discover in Las Vegas, and he told us the story about how their research shows that almost every password is a word you find in a dictionary, a number, usually 1 or 123, and a punctuation mark, almost always an exclamation point or a hashtag. So if that sounds like your password, it's not a strong password, go out and change it. Number 4, use a real CA-signed SSL certificate. So we want to go out and replace that self-signed SSL certificate with a real CA-signed certificate. Otherwise, your system will be susceptible to a man-in-the-middle attack. It doesn't really matter if you lock the doors, if you left the keys on top of the car. Number 3, don't connect ILO directly to the internet. Now, while we work really hard at our security and we've got great security features, putting it out on the internet is just asking for someone to come attack it. Make sure that there's a firewall in between your ILO or any device and the internet. Number 2, disable IPMI over LAN. If you don't know what IPMI is, turn it off. If you don't use IPMI, turn it off. And in fact, in the latest versions of our ILO5, ILO4, and ILO3 firmware, we're going to turn it off for you. If you do a reset to defaults, the new default value will be for IPMI over LAN to be disabled. And the number 1 security recommendation for ILO is keep your firmware up to date. We've got great new capabilities in our Gen 10 servers in conjunction with Smart Update Manager, ILO Amplifier, OneView, where we can easily update all the software and firmware that's part of the SPP. So keep that firmware up to date.
Thanks, Doug, for these top 10 tips.
You bet, Jennifer. And don't forget, if people want to chat with us, the email we've created is ilofeedback@hpe.com.